Welcome back, everybody, to the daily show where I'll be doing technical analysis and updates on big mega cap stocks. So, before we get started, please hit that like button, and that is greatly appreciated, guys. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. Now, if you want to get my daily trade ideas, swing trade ideas, live trading, and all kinds of setups, and you want to get trade like these that we took just a couple days ago on CMG and then Starbucks. This was the a second time that we picked up shares, and it was up over $3 a share, even right here on CMG. So these are way safer trades that I'm showing you right here with shares, but there are many more out there that I put out. Especially on options. So if you're really serious about trading, and I'm talking about only serious people, definitely check out my link down in the description. And if you go for that annual membership, which I actually recommend, then you definitely get some discount on there. Now, what is happening in the market today? Well, Dow going down 0.22%, Nasdaq, I mean, it pretty much rallied, but it was a slow grind up today, up 0.32%, S&P absolutely flat, and Russell going down 0.28%. 11 sectors that makes up S&P 500. You can see led by Meta, communication services on top, basic materials, technology. So it's a risk, on move here in the market. And we got energy utilities, you got risk of assets are all the way here on bottom. Stock market map, what do we have here? Well, the party definitely going on here on the semis. And today, even though Broadcom is up, they do have earnings tomorrow. I mean, it's way overextended. Microsoft flat, Nvidia going up 0.5%. Apple was up, and I think it was up at one point like over 1.5%, but pretty much gave up all the gains and now flat on the day. Amazon up 0.74%. You can see Meta, big rally. Netflix, Google was also up in the green. Tesla down 3.55%. And financial also taking a little beating here today, but not by much. Then we got energy sector. You can see going in the red today. And now let's talk about Netflix. So Netflix, another brand new all-time high. You can see right on my screen, 1242.56. That's what we got today. And then just a slight tiny $2 pullback from there because it was trading near the upper Bollinger Band, so it came back. Now we talked about it in my video that if this thing can stay over 1200, that is where it was actually going, and we did get there today. But things are getting even more overbought right here on Netflix. Now the question remains, and there is a lot of things, a lot of red flags out there where market kept grinding and going higher, and especially names like Netflix and some of the other names just pushing higher, and there is no signs of any sort of a pullback at any point. But you can see what happened before many times when things get really overextended. A lot of people don't have patience. When you call for things like overextended or it's going to pull back, a lot of people nowadays they buy weekly puts and they think it's going to come down the next week and they're gonna be some sort of a millionaire and making money. That is not the message, guys. Longer time frame takes time, and you can see, I mean, yes, it's up on the day, but it's a slow grind up. It was just trading sideways, and finally today, I can say, yeah, it was actually up, and we did hit a brand new all-time high. But past couple days from here, you can see, I mean, we're just riding sideways here on Netflix. So going into tomorrow's session, what is next? Well, it needs to get over 1242. Then the next price target to the upside will be 1270. To the downside, now there will be support right here, 1215, aligned with this rising blue line 5-day moving average, 1215 right here, and below that 1200, which is a critical support. And then we can talk about potentially more downside. But don't forget, when this thing goes down, it goes down in a big way. It can go down 60, $70 in just a matter of couple hours. On Apple, stock is down 0.22%, so basically a flat day. But look at the move here in the morning. I mean, this thing was up over 206, almost getting up to 207, but this negative sloping 50-day moving average, definitely huge rejection, came back and now holding over 202, holding over blue line on your screen, 5-day moving average. So I'm just rounding things up. 202, that's going to be a key level to watch tomorrow morning. If we open it below that, then definitely 198, 193, 190. Now at some point, Apple will break 207, and there is two gaps to the upside right here right on your screen, if this thing breaks over 207, it's going to close this gap just below 210, and over that you're going to see continuation up to 215, and then maybe at some point this gap will likely to get filled right here, and that is a huge upside. So I'm actually long here on Apple, and might be adding even more if there is a significant dip that we see in next couple days on Apple stock, which not the case today. We started the day very strong, but again, sellers, they stepped in and pushed the price down back down to where we started. So we'll see how that goes tomorrow on Apple stock. On Microsoft, it's up 0.19%, and while you guys saw that video was a Microsoft all-time high right on my thumbnail, and we did put in a brand new all-time high. Not by much, but again, it's a brand new all-time high, right? It's there. So Microsoft got rejection from there, came back, and now trading pretty much near all-time high. So is it going to push over this all-time high 465? Possibly, and if that happens, the next stop 470 plus. To the downside, we get some sort of a retracement back down. Maybe, it wants to cool off a little bit here. And watch out, now there will be support at 461.57, rising 5-day moving average. Then we have support right down here at 458. And then we also have support at 455. And then this gap comes into play, 453.69 all the way down to 447. These are the strong levels to watch if we get some sort of a move back down to the downside here on Microsoft. On AMD, it's up over 1%. So what I said at the beginning of my video, that a lot of people nowadays just buy weekly calls or puts and they want quick profit. This is a prime example. When you buy time, you can hold on. So if you guys watch my show over the weekend, we had some calls on AMD that I bought right here at 110, 115. Pretty much everybody sold, including my paid Patreon members. I only kept few runners, not too many. I think it was like 12 runners. Guess what? I sold today. Huge. And these were not weeklies, not going to expire immediately. A little bit of time. These were just short term, overnight, 2, 3 days trade, pretty much a day trade. You can call this a day trade. I'm not swinging it long term, but buying, cheaper call option, just taking that risk is really bad, especially when you don't have the money to back it up. You're going to lose money, and then, this frustration that you have is going to be really bad, and you're just going to lose it all, because once you start losing money, it's going to be quick. From 5 grand, it'll be down to 1 grand, and then pretty much nothing. It can happen with even big account if you don't know how to manage. But if you're buying a little bit of time, even 20% profit is a lot of money. A lot of people nowadays don't, see that as a lot of money. Oh, 20%? Oh, that's nothing. Well, what if 20% down? That's coming out of your pocket. So, stay, really humble when you make money. And even a small profit is profit. And you can see when you buy time and when you buy at the right time, things always work out. And if they don't, which, possible as well, because this is stock market, not everything is guaranteed, you know then you just cut loss and exit. You don't just go and add more and more and more. And you can add, but it depends on how much you can add and how much capital you have, guys. So that's a good risk to reward ratio, where this thing was going up from the support, where Netflix can come down anytime. And these are complete different plays, and that is why you cannot just buy. The message I'm trying to send is, the short term plays that you buy, these are extremely risky, and you can quickly get wiped out, and your account will come down to zero. Now, AMD, you can see we got over 118, so that is looking strong. 122 next stop, and then 125. We get pullback. Now there will be support at 115. Below that, right down here, 112, 110, and then we can talk about this gap, which is not the case as of right now. Semiconductors are doing really good right here in the market, especially yesterday and today. They put up a big show. And talking about semis, look at this pop right here, guys. We got over this 682 range, came back a few times. If you look at the 5-minute chart, and we did hold today, but things are getting a bit frothy, overextended. You can see trading pretty much outside the Bollinger Band. Now, if we can hold that 682 range, well, there is nothing stopping this thing from going up to 700 to 710. Right here, you can see 700. There was a lot of rejection here near 7 to 705. So we can come up here definitely, and then maybe we're not too far off from all-time highs on Meta. But is this something we should be chasing? Absolutely not. If this thing pulls back, watch out for a retest of the support breakout here, or the resistance breakout here, 664. That would be an entry if the support holds. But with all these gaps remaining here on bottom, and things are just, this is also just the way the market is going. This is a V shape, and the way it's going, I think it's more than likely where this thing will continue that V shape all the way up. But if you're buying, you can, you got to be really, you got to be really good at what you're doing here with Meta, because one wrong move, if this thing flips back down, you're going to lose a lot of money. So Meta definitely not worth playing, but if you can play, you can take a chance and play it. On Amazon stock, it's at 0.74%. So Amazon also pushing higher. And if you look at my screen, we take out these highs right here, 209. It can easily push up to 212. And from there, it can go up to 216. And looks like it's pretty much, slowly, but, it's in that breakout pattern. And it can do the same thing like Meta did. It's a similar, pattern that Meta had right here. And now Amazon is also having that similar type of pattern. Now, we're not completely out of the woods yet, but one thing I want to tell you that we have a positive slope 20-day, 13, and even 5, even the 50-day is curling back up. So that is a good signal on Amazon. If this thing wants to continue, rally can continue even higher. Support to watch 205, 203.57, 200, and below that, we have this gap down here, which can act as a support. And this could be a huge potential dip buying opportunity if this thing comes back here at some point at 194.69 on Amazon. On Google, stock it's up 1%. So this is the only one, and then Apple, two stocks that are, currently are not trading near all-time highs, and I think this is a fantastic opportunity right here. Now, if you look at my screen, I'm not gonna actually go and draw this here on the on the screen, but you can see, I mean, it's clearly building this wedge or flag type of pattern here. But this thing needs to get over 170. If that happens, well, quick move up to 176 possible on Google. We say, we have seen that before 2, 3 times, and that is where the breakout can happen to this gap, and that would be more upside. That is another, $4 or $5 to the upside. So Google here, it needs to hold over 170 if that breaks tomorrow. If not, the next support here to the downside is 166.42, 162, and then there is a gap down here which can act as a support. On Tesla, stock is down 3.55%. So Tesla was up yesterday, and you can see we got an inverted hammer here on Tesla, and then we flipped back, and there was a tweet from Elon Musk, and it has to do with something with the bill, and a lot of people are not liking that bill, and it's just a mess, right? And today the continuation continued here on Tesla, and this is probably a topping pattern that we're seeing in the short term, but again, it did not break 330. I think a short position is definitely welcome here on Tesla. If this thing breaks and stays under 330, something like we saw today, 327, let's say comes down to 325, goes back up to a retest, 330, 335, does not get that, breakout over that, easily can ride it back down to this gap 307 and the strong support at 300. So Tesla, I talked about it in my video over the weekend that also Tesla is going up, but just remember that over 300 there is no buying here on Tesla, and it can quickly come down just like the way this thing was going up, gapping up and going up. I mean, look at how many gaps right here on my screen, and that is just ridiculous. When this thing goes up, it goes up. When it comes down rapidly. So Tesla here, guys, watch out. 330 gives up. This gap is definitely in play. Now, if you play this gap, definitely manage your risk, because Elon is another tweet man, just like Trump. And if anything positive comes out and you're holding puts and you're not watching the news or the tweet, well, this thing can shoot back up, right? And that is why you need a stop. So Tesla 330 holds. Now we need to get over the resistance here at 335 and then 345. Over that, you're going to see pushback up to 362. On Nvidia stock, it's absolutely flat on the day. But if you look at my screen, there was a mini dip here, and the dip got bought up. But one thing I want to point out, guys, Broadcom, they do have earnings tomorrow night, I think, right after bell. So that is something to watch. And the stock is already front running and going up and hitting brand new all time highs. So it could be priced in where you see the price going nowhere, or there might be something in store where these investors or insiders, they know they're pumping it up now, they're gonna sell everything before the earnings, and then they're expecting something where the stock will drop 20-30 bucks. Right now it's at brand new all-time high, and Nvidia just did not follow that route after earnings. You can see, when was the last time we hit all-time highs? It was January 7th, right? It's been like almost 5-6 months, and we're kind of struggling here on Nvidia. So if this thing flips back down and takes out 136, I mean, this trend line is too steep. And if this thing breaks, well, there is a bunch of gaps here. You can see it right on my screen, and easily can come down to like 118, 126. That is possible. I mean, we have seen these sell-offs before. I mean, look at this right here. Look at this gap down here. Look at this sell-off right here. Just because we're going up, and people, that's how people think. When things are going up and up and up and not coming down, well, it's not gonna come down ever, right? It's gone. It's not gonna come down. No, the technicals work. Sometimes these are delayed. When things go up rapidly, they come down. There will be digestion. It's going to come down. It's going to digest that big move. But so far, there was nothing. I mean, we saw that mini pullback, and we went right back up to where we started last week after earnings. So Nvidia 136, your key line in the sand if this thing is going back up to all-time highs. Also, it needs to get over 142 and then 144.56 to see that all-time high. And it's clear, just watch these levels. If it breaks under, then there will be significant downside here on Nvidia. And that's all I have for you guys in this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll definitely keep you guys updated.